Yo, 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 what's good, people? We're back in the studio again, people, for another episode of Reasoning Time. It's episode 38. And today we have Reggae Girls on the docket. We have the Nicaragua game that just took place this past Monday. So we're going to look at it in depth, do a full recap, talk about what I saw, give the players some ratings as well, and also give the coach a rating. Also, we're going to look at the U20 Reggae Boyz, the full recap of the tournament itself, how the games went. We're going to look in focus on the last fixture, the one that we thought would be probably the best barometer, to see where this Reggae Boyz under 20 team is as they look to qualify for Jamaica's second World Cup this year after the U17s would have qualified earlier this year. So they have the second round of qualifiers coming up in July. And so, we're going to look at obviously the teams that will be joining the 6 teams that would have qualified. Obviously, all the groups are over and that first round is over. So we're going to look at which 6 teams out of CONCACAF did get there to go and join the other 6 teams that would have been pre-qualified for that championship. And we're going to have the tough conversation, people. How many of these players are we going to continue with moving forward as we go through? It's not the easiest conversation. There's a lot of things and a lot of different sides you can look at it and ways you can look at it. But for me, I'm just going to base it off of the evaluation that I have seen of the football players. We can't really think too much about other things. I know that others will place more value on certain things, but I'm going to base it strictly off of the field. And I always think, regardless of background and things of that nature, if there's a clear plan, football is a universal language. So that should not stop a team from functioning properly as long as the instructions are clear and obviously the what you want the players to do makes sense for their skill sets and whatnot. So yeah, there's a lot of factors that go into it, but I'm gonna say your eye test, what you think about how they play football, that should be paramount in your thought process. But some people will disagree, and that's why football is one of the greatest things to have discussions about. Isn't that right? So people, listen. As you guys start to see that we're live and you guys start to fill up the building, make sure you're doing the right thing by hitting the like button on the video. Make sure you're hitting the like button on the video, and we can move forward with the discussion. We're going to let people start to realize that we are here. Let me go ahead and share around the video for those that might not be checking for their devices right now. Just gonna give a subtle reminder as well, because people might not know that we're live, so let me go ahead and send it around so the people them know that we are here. Yeah, man. Big up Marvin Ferran in the building, says the U20 are short of midfield and also 2 good center forward. Yeah, man. Big up yourself. Morning to you. Morning to you. We're doing a little earlier show. I have some running around to do in the afternoon. Plus, I want to watch the afternoon football game as well before football training after that. So, yeah, we're kind of busy later. I know we have the EPL review show, but I wanted to get in a reasoning time today because there's a lot of reasoning that I want to hold with the people. So, we want to get it in today. Big up yourself, Pastor, in the building. Check it in early. We love to see it. I hope all is well with you and your family. Pastor, yeah, we're going to have a tough conversation today. I know that it's probably going to cause some fights, but sometimes the tough conversations need to be had. You know what I mean? So we want to make sure that the people know that we are here. I'm going to start the show today, people. How the title says, the Reggae Girls versus Nicaragua recap. We're going to do that first, people. I must say I'm thankful to CONCACAF always beating them, but at least for this competition now, they are actually putting out what we want, which is the statistics and everything. So we love it. We love it. We love it. We love it. Getting all the overall thing. All right, that's nice. That's nice. Teams. Okay. Wow. hold on, the scores. All right, I just getting it on the screen for you guys, just to remind ourselves of the starting lineups and everything. Because, like I said, people want give the Reggae Girls the first half of the show, and then the U20 boys will dominate the discussion for the ending of the show. All right, people, I'm gonna run the show for about 2 hours, and that is a definite because I have to go and get the picnic. Can't have them stranded out in the world. You know, we have to be there. They can't drive, so we have to pick them up, right? So yeah, Gabby have our last show today at the Springer. I'm gonna pick her up and take her go to school to finish off the day at school. So yeah, let's get it in now, people. All right, so I have this ready to go. So let me get this up on screen. The details from the match that we just played against. I have my little notes here as well. Hold on 1 second, people. Let me get something for right with. People there, big up yourself, Ball Pre in the building. People, if you haven't already, go and give Ball Pre TV a strength. Subs them a grow, but they need to continue. Yeah, man. Big up yourself. Thanks for tuning in. I know you're gonna do the right thing and like the video when I even I wonder them thing there. All right, so let me share this screen. And you know my thing, people, we're gonna discuss the ball game. First and foremost, people, anybody that had a chance to watch the Reggae Girls versus Nicaragua, like, what are your initial thoughts on the game? How you thought we played? You know, just an overall summary, just to see what you guys thought of the game. Of course, you know I'm gonna go through all the players and discuss, you know, what I saw of the tactics and you know what I think we can improve moving forward. I think we have another window in April where we're gonna play Antigua and Guyana. And I think that will be more of a physical test. You know, I think the Nicaragua game is more of the tactical side. You know, you want to make sure you keep your shape. Nicaragua just want to pull you out of shape with their passing game, and you have to be disciplined and not necessarily chase. Make sure you coordinate your pressure, because they will tend to have you tired if you just keep on chasing them. So, you know, at times Jamaica did coordinate their press really well. I thought early in the game, especially when we had the legs, we just kind of overcome them with our physicality, our ability to close down the space quickly. And I think they took a little time to gauge how quickly we could close them down. But once they got the hang of that, and they realized that their mental clock sped up a bit, and they were able to get the ball off their foot quicker. Jamaica was a touch late to the ball as the game progressed, and you could see that kind of continue as the game went through. Now, it must be said that Jamaica really and truly could have put this game away. I mean, the final score was 3-2, right? Obviously, that was what the game ended up. But I mean, in the first half, we're talking about a striker in Bonnie Shaw that is world renowned as a striker in the women's game. And she will tell you herself, you know, she probably would be embarrassed at some of those misses that she had in that first half. So, you know, I have to start there. When the game started out, the way we started the game, I was thinking, okay, we're going to really dominate this game, right? So I had the press coordinated. You know, we were turning them over in their defensive third or at the start of the middle third, turning that into attacking opportunities. One thing I noticed early in the game, we hadn't quite worked out on that right-hand side where the width was going to come from. And it was kind of interesting that the first goal did actually come from some width on the right-hand side, because in the early part of the game, it looked very tilted towards the left-hand side. I don't know if anybody else noticed that. When we saw the team sheet, I remember on the live stream that we did, I was mentioning that based on the personnel, it looks like it should be a back three. The first initial graphic we got was a 4-4-2. And I remember thinking that's probably not what it is. Then I thought maybe with the personnel, it could be like an Amarimish type of play style, but I was thinking maybe not, because I think Hales is either a striker or a wide player. I don't think that half space number 10 role is really suits her perfectly. So I was hopeful that it wasn't that. Well, when the game started, you could see on the graphic on the screen as well, it really was the Amarim type of style with the back three, the four midfielders, two wing backs slash wide midfielders, and then the two in behind the striker were playing kind of narrow in the system. And I think it suited Natasha Thomas. And you saw early in the first half, she was picking up those pockets of space really well, turning on the ball, running at the defense, playing a pass here and there. But I think Shania was kind of lost in the system for large parts of the game. So my first thought was, was it really the best personnel if you're going to play this system? And immediately I thought about who was on the bench. So when I looked on the bench, I saw Sade there. I know she's been converted to a deeper line player in the midfield. I think she could suit that role really well, though, because she's a former forward. But I wasn't really thinking her. The player that stood out to me mostly was Kiki Van Zanten, because I think Kiki is probably, in terms of our attacking players, the most technical player we have, right? And I think that role will require you to be able to function in the half space, turn on the half space, slip that pass through, or take a shot at goal. And I think it would actually unlock some of Kiki's attacking. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but when she came on the pitch, she wasn't very effective in her touch, right? Her touch was a bit off, we have to be honest. But in terms of the positions that she was finding herself in, the runs she was making, I would just love to have seen her when the team was fresh in the first part of the game where we were pressing and we had the attacking impetus. I would have loved to have seen her on the end of some of those plays or creating some of those plays. So hopefully that's something that the coach would have seen, took a note of, because I think if we're going to move forward playing this system against teams, I don't know if Shania's best role in this system would be where she was played. I think she would have to be playing where Bonnie was playing in this type of system. And it's not that we're hurting for those type of players. I think Trudy Carter could play it. I think Kiki could play it. I know Simmons has been converted to a fullback, but I think she could have played that role as well. So there's a lot of other players. I just don't know if Shania fits that role. Thomas, I think, can handle it. I think she proved that in her movement and her awareness in that role. But I don't know if Shania fits there. So that's one of the first things that I noticed, that maybe the system wasn't really getting the best out of some of the players. I have to also talk about in the midfield in the first half. I think Jade Bailey, you can tell she has a presence in the midfield. She kind of reads the game, relatively well. So she's in good spots when we're out of possession. But I think with her, you can see that she has had some injuries over the years and hasn't been playing all that consistently. She has started to play much more this year. So that's why probably she's back in the team. But I think she was getting caught on the ball a little bit too much, taking that extra touch, just not getting it off of her foot. So in the future, if she comes back and is starting again, that's what I would love to see her improve on. Just get the ball off your foot a little bit quicker, see the play a little bit faster. But I think with game time with the club, over time, hopefully the April window, we can see a much better version of Jade Bailey if she's fit and ready to go. The back three, I think, looked solid enough. Tiana Harris, Chantel Swaby, Kanya Plummer. I thought Plummer showed much better composure on the ball in this game than I've seen in games past. Breaking the lines well along the ground, which I like to see. Her first touch was good. If the ball was coming in the air, she was taking it down well. So, Kanya Plummer looks to be improving technically, which we'll love to see. Tiana Harris, I remember in the stream, I was bigging her up, saying how she's so good on the ball in terms of distribution and spraying the passes. And as soon as I said that, she sent 2 balls out of touch. But Tiana Harris definitely, I think, is going to be very helpful to our cause, because I think the Swaby sisters, Plummer, most of the center backs, they probably would have felt just rooted in their spots in the team, because there haven't really been any CBs coming to push them. And I think the fact that Tiana is in the mix now, you're going to see a better version of all the other defenders we have, because they're going to be itching to get in the starting 11. I think it's interesting that with the addition of Tiana, the first thing the coach does is switch to the back three to get more center backs in the game. And I think that was a smart move. When you look at our right back and left back situation, you know my stance on Denden. I've never, ever, ever seen Denden as a quote unquote left back in a back four, right? I just don't see it. I think she's an attacking player. She wants to attack, and let her attack. That is what she's good at, you know. Gets away with it at times at defense because she's very athletic. But when she comes up against, tricky wingers that, are really, really good, I think she kind of has, she struggles. She struggles, and it's not, and I don't want to beat her. I just think it's my assessment of the player. And I think most coaches agree, because Busby himself, right, has tried to move her more into the attack. And at the club level in Mexico, she has been basically playing there. When she was in the NWSL for a time, she was playing as a midfielder or a winger. So, many coaches have seen her play and had the same sentiments. I don't think I'm far off there. But I think it's interesting that he went to the back three, because I think that's one of our strengths as a team. When you talk about the Swaby sisters, Harris and Plummer, who I think is improving in our team in Europe. I think that's going to be a strong point for us if we're going to get to the tougher rounds once we get there. Primus, I think, is one of those players that is probably an unsung hero for Jamaica. Just a workhorse player, but also in this game, I thought exhibited good technique and technical ability, was spraying some good passes in the first half, especially. And she's just a worker, no nonsense player as well. She plays more as a luxury type player for her club, attacking midfielder, scoring goals. But for Jamaica, she has always been willing to put in a shift. And I think as her stature grows in the team, you can see her presence in the team growing as well. So I was impressed with her game. I thought she was one of the better players on the day. So yeah, Primus, we'll get to the player rating, but I'm just giving a little rundown of everything. I thought Blackwood was very dangerous in the first half, especially down that left-hand side. Gave Bonnie a couple of gilt-edge opportunities to finish, but she couldn't do it on the day. But Blackwood, still at times, I would love her decision-making on the ball to be a little better. But I think, with her, it's one of those things where I'm willing to live with some of the shortcomings, because I know when it comes off for her, she can be a game changer for us. So I just like the fact that the coach has identified getting her more into the attack and giving her a little bit less defensive responsibility. So I love that. Tiffany Cameron, look, she provided the assist for the first goal, but I thought Tiffany was really off the pace. I think, at this stage of her career, she plays striker predominantly for her club. And I know Jamaica has basically converted her with the national team to a wide wing-back type of player. And she used to play that earlier in her career, as most wingers can kind of double as right-backs as well. I just think at this stage of her career, I don't know if that is putting her in the best position to give her best account of herself. Let's just put it that way. So I think that definitely affected her. I don't think she was as effective. Always going to put in the work, never going to stop running and trying. But I just think, I don't know if we need to reevaluate if Cameron is really, if we're going to play this system, is Cameron the right person for that role? I mean, that's something we have to really look at. Shania Hills, I've talked about a bit. Natasha Thomas, I've talked about a bit. Khadija Shah had the 2 goals and the assist, so she did what was needed to get the job done. But she will look back at this game and know that she definitely left a lot of food on the table. Could have easily had a hat-trick and more in this one. Seemed to have issue with the field condition. She was very, very, many times you saw her kind of stamping the turf. I don't know if that was just trying to get the feel for the ground or in anger, but you could tell that she was not liking the playing surface much. And that went for quite a few other players, if we're being honest. And Rebecca Spencer, hadn't talked about her. She looks to need some game time, to be honest. She did not look particularly sharp, the little bit that she had to do. Because we weren't under immense pressure in terms of like shots on our goal. But, what she had to do and what she was tasked with, I have seen better versions of Becky before. Let's just put it that way. So, that's something that we have to look into as we get into this tougher part of the qualifiers. Once that season starts back up, is Rebecca Spencer at Chelsea? You know, is that gonna have her really ready for the challenges that are coming? That's what we have to ask ourselves. And is there a way that we can in the summer maybe get her some game time, get her some matches with the national team to prepare for that W championship if we do get through the final two games in the April qualifiers. So that's my little brief rundown of the players that played and started in the game. I will get into the substitutes once we get into the player ratings and stuff, but that's just my little recap there. Key takeaways: system change. I think the personnel forced that change, or made him think of doing that change. So for one question I'll ask the people watching now: do you like the look of the Reggae Girls in the back three system that you saw in this game? Is that something you want to see them stick to moving forward? And also, if you had the job of coaching the senior national Reggae Girls for this particular game, based on the squad that we picked, what changes would you have made to the starting lineup? So that's two questions I want the crowd to get involved with. Let me go through the comment section, because I'm sure people are blessed with up from I've been talking. So first thing I do as I join, hit the like button. Yes, and more people need to take that same practice, and we are right. Bless up yourself, Stetson in the building. Big up, big up, big up, big up. Manners and honors, JG and all, they have to listen and learn from the reasoning. Yeah, man, big up yourself, Jagans, and maximum respect as well for the membership. You don't know, he's a legend for that. Big my boss. Warrior in a building, big up yourself, Blessings, blessings. Ragnum, oh, go on. We're there, one Pisa. The Reggae Girls look really good playing both on and off the ball. They were playing tic-tac football, and when they lose the ball, everybody was helping out each other, and they didn't back off. That is the take from Marvin Ferran. So Marvin felt really good about what he saw from the Reggae Girls. We can't deny it. Miss Denden played incredibly well. Yeah, man, she was a threat down that left-hand side. Ball Pre TV making a run up the leaderboard. Boy, I tell him I have to lock my eye and look on that from where they are, brother. The one Demo, can't take Demo, man. I hear from Demo all year, but it's like how him step back up in the fantasy. You soon see me, I bet you. I might not though, because I'm probably upset with Liverpool. Why Adam Malkin isn't a regular starter? Asked Warrior. Well, I won't answer this yet, Warrior, but I'm not going to forget. We're going to player ratings, and I'm going to have a take on Sade and what I think she needs to do if she wants to start. What happened to the young Washington girl? Thought she was in camp. But that's a great question, I was wondering the same thing. But I didn't hear any people in the press conference ask about her. So I don't know. She was named in the squad, but she was not there. I didn't see her in any of the camp pictures. So I don't know if she picked up something late at Orlando or what. Kiki is pacey and direct, therefore should have started. Yeah. Cardozo and Simmons should the fullbacks. Interesting Ira vibes. Interesting. I agree with one of those of the two. I agree with one of them. Primo stood out for me. Yeah, I thought she had a really good game. Thought she was just missing some help at times in that midfield, Big up knowledgeness. Salute. Yeah, man. No, he probably dep on the work, but just go and tune in with the headphones, my G. Cameron, a striker turned fullback. It doesn't make sense. Yeah, Ira vibes. Good old American coaches, Many times they turn attackers into right backs and left backs these days, And I won't even say American. Just it's something about us as black people. I think they see us in that role, I don't know. The formation doesn't suit the team, says Ira Vibes. You think we play to Bonnie's strengths? What's up with the young girl from ATL? Yeah. So Soleil Washington, that's a wonderful question. So I'm gonna type in her name. I'm gonna see. Because she was named in the squad. So let me see if I can get some information. So yeah, now give me nothing about any injury on Orlando side. Let's see. Not even AI. Brother, I don't know. Nothing about her. Why she pull out or what happened? $2026. Yo, I forgot link my linky. Yeah, so we don't know what happened with her. She was in the squad named, but she never quite make it, She never make it for some reason. All right, so let's just look at the stats real quick before we break down the player ratings for now. So this was the stats in the game. 60% possession. People like up the video as we go down into the football reasoning even deeper now. Please make sure and share the content as well. And if you're new to the channel, drop a subscription, people. We had some nice growth in the subscribers in the last couple of weeks. We want to keep that momentum going. All right, people. So make sure and do the right thing and share the content. Make people know so we're there. People who know me still never even know me have a channel. So me need for the better. And the ones that are here taking in the reasoning or need for the better as well and share it around. All right. Yeah, man, that is it. All right. So you see the duels, and that's one thing. Interestingly, like Nicaragua, for a team with small individuals, they definitely play with a lot of heart. They were not scared to go into the challenges. Even the first play of the game, the number 9 Marquez ran right into Natasha Thomas, buck her right in her face. And that was basically how the how the game was going. They were not backing down at all. The aerial duels, as to be expected, Jamaica had the domination there. But funny enough, we did concede from a header. So, what do you make of that? Interceptions, offsides, corners, they had the slight edge 6-5, but we had the possession edge. Then when you get into the metrics now, the distribution, we had almost 100, basically 150 more passes, 34 long passes in the game, 45 for Nicaragua. See the passing accuracy at 84.6. So that was one thing that I was impressed with. Decent passing accuracy overall. You see Nicaragua down there by 74%. In the opponent's half, of course, it drops down a bit, more difficult passes, but still a decent number. Over 75% is always good. Cross is 21-12. That's something that we're going to talk about. As someone asked, do we play to Bunny's strengths? I think we could even up that number as well. You see the accuracy, a remarkable 43%. So, if you're getting almost half of your crosses connecting, you definitely just need to continue crossing the ball. Based on the attack now, 31 shots, 11 on target. Would like to see that shot accuracy go up a bit. If you're taking 31 shots, you'd want about half of them or more to be on target. We had 8 of our shots blocked. We took 7 outside the box and 24 inside the box. So we're having no trouble getting in the box. And like I said, that shooting accuracy, would love to see it go up a little bit more. Defending now, we made 6 more tackles. We had a high success rate in tackles as well. We really didn't have to clear the ball as much, not under as much pressure. We had 15, they had a whopping 42. And discipline, we only had the 1 yellow card, and that went to Primus. I don't understand for the life of me how the number 9 from Nicaragua never get a yellow card, or the number 10, Hannah Lee. They had so many fouls in the game, but I don't know. When we break it down by the player now, and we won't go to the players yet, because I wanted the player ratings first. So I don't want to get skewed by the player then. Yes, Bailey Gale would have been Saleh's replacement. That is true, Ira Vibes. That is true. Because when I saw her, I was like, wait, she wasn't in the team, but then I remembered, oh, Soleil is not there right now. So Central American teams will run for 90 minutes. Yes. I think a part of the reason why they can is because even though they didn't have high possession stats, in the spells when they do have the ball, they tend to try to keep it for a long time. You know, they're not really in a rush to go forward. And I think, some of the Caribbean teams are not like that. And they, in essence, they tire out themselves with how they play. Let me go back to the lineups. All right, so the starting lineup, Rebecca Spencer in goal. So Rebecca Spencer, she didn't have to make a save. Well, she did have to make a save. She faced 2 shots. Both of them went in the goal. One was a penalty, and one was the header from the corner that we conceded from to make the game 3-2. She didn't claim any crosses on the day, didn't have a save. And to be honest, in possession on the ball, still fine on the ball. No mistakes I can remember in possession. Nicaragua really didn't press us until right at the end of the game. They pretty much dropped back into our mid to low block for the most part. Kind of let us have control of the possession. So I can't really mark her too hard on that. But I will say on just her overall movement, if they had a header go wide or a shot go wide or anything like that happened, she did look a tad late on most of the things that she did. And again, that could be down to match fitness. That could be down to overall fitness, just not playing enough football. Could be down to many things. But I think for someone that we have such a high standard for, I don't know if that standard will be attainable based on what's going on with her in her club life with Chelsea. Because she's really not playing any football of note. The last time Becky would have played, and maybe somebody with a deeper knowledge of the women's game can tell me, but she basically has just been on the bench for the whole time. She's been on the bench all throughout the season, not getting any game. They play multiple competitions, Champions League, Cup game, and I don't really see her playing any of the games at all. So, the last time she would have played a game, basically. Let me see. Is this not showing the... She would have played for Tottenham back in November 2024. So that would have been the last club football game she would have played. I don't know if she's playing games with reserves or anything like that. But, what's registered out there, like the big league, she hasn't made any appearances this season. Not in the Super League, not in the FA Cup, not in the League Cup. So yeah, it's not a good look. She has no matches under her belt for the entire season. Is that something that's sustainable going forward? Is that something that's sustainable that's going forward? I don't think so. But to be fair, when you look at the squad, Sydney Snyder, Tampa Bay Sun, yes, she's playing, so you have to give her that edge. But the levels matter. I can't be talking about levels and then disregard it where that is concerned. She's playing for the Tampa Bay Sun, and the Tampa Bay Sun, they play in the USL Super League, which is the league below the NWSL. Actually, is there another league above this one? In between? No, I think this is the second league. This is the second league. Yeah, Lexington, Jacksonville, Fort Lauderdale, yeah. So this is the second league. So the USL Super League would be the equivalent to the championship on the men's side, right? So, that's a big difference in level right there. Now the USL second league is good, very good league, because it's in the US, one of the top countries in women's football. So that playing in the second division there isn't the worst thing in the world. But we have to call a spade a spade. One is in the WSL, which is probably top 2, top 3 in the world. Yes, she's third choice, but she's third choice for the perennial champions. So it's a discussion that's a tough one to be had. And we know Becky is my girl and everybody girl. But if it's gonna affect her performance, then it's gonna be a problem. It's gonna be a problem. And she was looking, I've seen her looking fitter. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, man, it's true, man. Corey's not lying with that running 90 minutes thing. She's third choice at Chelsea. Yep. Last game was a preseason friendly. She started for Chelsea in preseason. Becky lacks match fitness. She seems to gain a bit of weight as well. Sometimes signing for a big club can build you or destroy you. Yeah, well, look, I'll have to give Rebecca a 4.5 in the game. And you guys can drop your scores if you watch the game in the comment section. About 50 of you in the building right now. So yeah, man, just drop your scores in the comment section if you want to. I'm going to give Becky a 4.5. I thought, wasn't tested a lot, but the two tests that she came up against, she didn't really pass. And, I saw some signs that were making me worry just a little bit. So I want her to really look in the mirror and say, hey, will I be ready to give my best, when that window rolls around after the summer? What can I do to ensure that I am at the level that Jamaica will need me to be at? Because listen, you can look back at the last time we qualified for the World Cup, and without Rebecca Spencer at her top level, Jamaica don't make that second World Cup in a row. I'm telling you that. So, we're gonna need the goalkeeper to come up big in the actual championship if we get to the April window the way we're supposed to. All right, moving on to number 3, Tiana Harris. Now, Tiana Harris, I thought defensively, didn't really do much wrong. I will say, when the game got a bit tougher in the end, in terms of them really throwing the kitchen sink at us to get that equalizing goal, I wanted her to keep her composure a bit better. There was I think the way we conceded the corner actually was her defending by the corner flag, and it looked like she was trying to clear the ball from behind the player, wrap her foot around and clear it up the field. I think in that moment, she could have maybe just stayed in her position because she was in a really good position and let the attacker try to do something with her back to goal, kind of out of ideas. And then from that ensuing corner, they score. So, that one play proved to be costly, but I think you can see a couple of things that I really love about her. She seems to be a very, very good communicator, right? Typically, when a new player or a somewhat new player comes into the team and it's a back three, you might not see that person that's the new player come and just drop right in the middle of the back three. But I think Tiana Harris' level of communication, the way she organizes the team, and just her personality in general, you can see that even the interview that I saw her do, she has quite a, you can tell she's a bubbly personality, and she's probably one that, didn't take long to assimilate into the team because she probably just immersed herself in it, and I think, for her to have that responsibility of really marshalling that back three so early in her time with the Reggae Girls, just I think speaks volumes to her as a leader and as a person, right? So we have Jade Bailey. So we have Tiana Harris, right, in the middle of that defense. And like I said, solid, wasn't really tested overall a lot. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, John won't start. On my day off, work, I call me, I'm thinking that. Sure. Yeah, sorry, the people. So, um, Jagan's asking, how does the US Women Top Professional League compare to the top women European leagues, UK, Spain, France, etc.? I would say it's on par. I would say it's on par. I think the other day they had that tournament and Arsenal ended up playing. Who did Arsenal end up playing in the final? I think it was a Brazilian team. But I think when you're talking about the Brazilian league, like when you look at the Europe versus the Americas, and I'm going to say Americas because I'm going to include South America too. The NWSL, the Brazilian league, would probably be the top of this side of the world. And then when you're talking about Europe, the countries you named, the UK, Spain, France, Italy. I mean, the top fives is probably just about the same, and Germany. Those would be the same top five leagues. And I would say, I think the WSL in England probably has taken the lead in terms of the most recognizable players and everything. And Spain, their team, they have the best team because Barcelona is the best women's team to me. Even though Arsenal did win the Champions League, I think Barca is still the best team overall. And Olympic Lyon as well from France, So uh, I feel like it compares pretty well, to be honest, because we're seeing now the US girls have a choice. I mean, they can stay in the NWSL and make similar money. We saw Trinity Rodman, who is wanted by a lot of European teams. She ended up staying with the club that she signed to from early, and her salary is comparable to the biggest players in Europe. So once those things start to match up, then you can really say that they compare really well. And yeah, I think the one thing that I think the US leagues need to adapt is the structure or the timing of the leagues in Europe. I think that will help the game immensely in CONCACAF if they just match up the MLS season with the European season and everything. I think that would help a lot instead of doing the January to December thing, because it helps a lot with like player movements and everything. Because if you notice, a lot of the players end up moving in January, and January is not the biggest window for the transfers. So I just think it kind of hurts players from getting to move overseas if they want to from the US leagues, playing them January to December. So I think that's something that they're going to change. Unrelated, congrats on winning the league, signed traumatized citizen. In case no one has said it yet, the coach needs to go. Jaja. Where said Pep needs to go? Why? Oh, or maybe I talk about our coach with the Reggae Girls. I'm not sure. On a league level, WSL looks better than NWSL. Other Europe leagues have a few very elite teams, but not the entire league. Okay, so I had one thing: WSL is better overall than the NWSL. Fair. Yeah, man. Oh, our coach. All right, cool. I think you're talking about Busby. All right, so Tiana Harris, look, not put under immense pressure. I thought she did what she needed to do well enough. And I definitely like her composure on the ball. I don't really see her panicking on the ball much. Always seems to find a space to be available as well to receive the ball, which is good. So I think she did some good things. Had one little mishap. I think because we conceded twice, we have to kind of give her I would say I give her a 6. I'll give Tiana a 6. I thought she was one of the better players on the day. Chantel Swaby, I thought defensively she was strong. On the ball, I think sometimes she makes little errors here and there that are a bit too unforced for my liking. But I think defensively she's solid enough. I think in this back three system, what we're gonna need to make sure that we don't do is isolate her too much on the flanks with the pacier players. I think once we get to that next level of qualifying, we may need to figure out, what are we gonna do on the right hand side. I think Plummer shows a little bit more. Plummer looks a little bit more comfortable defending in space than Swaby. Chantel, once she stays in front of you, it's very hard to beat. But once you get her in a lot of space where maybe a player can just not get into that physical battle with Chantel, sometimes maybe that it gets a little tougher. I think one of the times she did get beat down that line in a similar situation. Trying to remember. No, it wasn't her. Okay, yeah. So Chantel Swaby, I think her and Harris probably deserve about the same thing, to be honest. I think Plummer might have done a touch better, because I think Plummer, her chances that she took on the ball in terms of breaking the lines came to a bit more, especially in the first half. And I think all three defended well. I think that what splits the difference, and I would give Plummer just a added 0.5. And maybe it's just that me also, I don't expect these things from Kanya Plummer, to be honest. And I must say, Kanya, whatever you're doing over there, I have seen the improvement in your technical ability on the ball. I still want you to not hide from your left foot as much. That's the one thing, and you were playing on the left hand side of the three. But other than that, I think you did well in possession this time. So I gave you a 6.5, Kanya. So just to recap so far, I gave Rebecca 4.5, I gave Tiana 6, I gave Chantel a 6, and I gave Kanya Plummer a 6.5. All right. Now moving into the midfield. So that double pivot of Jade Bailey and Primus. So I'll start out with Jade Bailey. Yeah, the defense wasn't really tested. That is true. I just think the young McPherson girl should be there as a midfielder. Jalea. Okay, yeah. The defending for the corner was bad though. Yes, it was horrible. It was horrible. Everybody was free. I don't know. I think most of the runners kind of went more towards Becky's goal, and they held back the goal scorer more towards the penalty spot, and nobody really tracked that person. Everybody went towards the goal, and it's like the header had eyes. It just went away from everyone. Oh, you think Jalea should be there as a defender? Okay. Because he did. I thought it could have been midfielder too, because the last time we had a squad called up, Jalea did come on and play in the midfield. So yeah, the defending for the corner was bad though. Yeah, it was horrible. Jean-Pierre said the NWSL was ranked higher, but people are now saying England is now on par. Plus, they have Champions League. Yeah, the equivalent Champions Cup, it's really just what I think they should do is like what they have a Champions League for all of Europe. It would be good to have, because they have a CONCACAF thing, but they should probably do like a America's thing as well, where include all the South Americans and all the champions from the NWSL, Canada and Mexico, and you have a competition like that to really show the best in the, well, I guess the region will be CONCACAF still, because it's based on your FIFA region. But that kind of handcuff NWSL, because they'll get tested by the Mexican champion, but I feel like that team will always lose to them. Maybe not always, but yeah, I think they would lose now. Did you notice I congratulated Miss Den? Good game. Yes, you did, Bala. We're proud of that. All right, Jade Bailey. So, like I said, Jade Bailey had some good presence off the ball in the midfield, broke up some plays well. But I think our passing, it's showing 87.2. And it wasn't really the passing, it's the amount of times. I wish this had the amount of times the ball get taken off our foot. Right? She had 43 touches, made 39 passes, good passing accuracy. She made one tackle, and she did concede a foul. But she came off at halftime, and I think it was a change that people probably could have predicted, because I did think that she was a bit leggy on the ball. Off the ball as well towards the first half, you could see that she was feeling the elements, the pitch. She wasn't really as quick as she was earlier in the game. So I'm gonna say a steady performance, but nothing incredible. Need to see some improvement. I'll give her a 5.5, Jade Bailey. Then moving on now to the other pivot in the midfield, and that was Primus. She got a yellow card in the 62nd minute for a pretty rough tackle, it must be said. But she had one shot, one on target. The one shot she took, she had two key passes in the game. Look at the passing accuracy up at 91.8. She was one of the most accurate on the day. 49 passes, 69 touches on the ball. So she was getting on the ball a lot of times. Look at the tackles as well. 6 tackles. She won a foul and conceded 2 fouls. So look, Primus, all action in the midfield. I think one of the best players on the park. I'm gonna have to give I'm gonna have to give Primus a 7. Like I said, I think one thing that was definitely there, with Bailey as our partner, with Primus to putting in this type of shift, I just wanted to say, what if Drew Spence was there beside her in this game? I thought Drew was a miss. We did see Drew in the window before, but she was suffering from an injury out of the Tottenham team right now. So hopefully Drew will be back for the April window, because I just want to see these 2 players in this 3-back system, how they handle that midfield, because I think Primus at times just needed a little more support. And I don't know if Bailey was able to give her that in that first half. All right. So 5.5 for Bailey, 7 for Atlanta Primus. Moving on now to the fullbacks or wingbacks or wide midfielders. So let's start out with, as Bala said, Miss Denden. She had 2 shots, 0 on target. She had 5 key passes. That's a stat that I love. Would love to see anytime you can get more than 2 or more in a game. That is very good. 80.6% passing accuracy, not bad. 71 touches in the game, 36 passes, 1 tackle. Didn't win any fouls, but did commit 4. Thought the referee was quite lenient with Denisha. I thought she could have got a yellow card at that point, but thank you, Miss Referee, for not doing that. The referee was from El Salvador, Miss Benitez. So thank you, Miss Benitez. All right, so we have then one thing is not showing here is the crosses. Then put in some very, very good quality crosses, and I would suggest that of those 5 key passes, probably 4 of them would have been crosses. I know 2 for a fact fell to the head of Bonisha, and I still know to this day don't understand how she never scored them. But yeah. Then passing accuracy, better, like it. Not exposing us around the back. And when you did have to defend, you were willing to put in the work. Even if you were fouling people, you were running. So then I would say you and Primus deserve about the same, because you both were influential in our performance. So I will give Den a 7 as well. All right, so good job, Den. Now on to Tiffany Cameron. Tiffany Cameron played the opposite flank, and she lasted until halftime. And it was a sub that I was calling for in real time. So I can't beat the coach too much for his rating today, because he did some of the things I asked for at halftime. But this was her stats overall. She had 1 shot. It was off target. She had 2 key passes in the game, so that's good. She had 30 touches, 18 passes, 72.2%, so a little bit lower passing accuracy for her. She had 1 tackle, 1 foul, 1, and she did have an assist as well, which is not showing here. And she had the assist for the first goal to Bonisha. A good cross. After a little layoff by Natasha Thomas, she whipped it into the box, and Bonisha was able to finish from about the penalty spot to make it 1-0. So Cameron, a bit up and down, I thought. Again, looked a little bit off the pace at times. Definitely was getting caught on the ball too much. And I think, just at times early in the game, I'm not sure if it was instruction, but she seemed to be playing a bit too narrow for my liking. We didn't really have that outlet on the right-hand side that Den was providing on the left. And once she did start to provide that width, she put in a good cross once, and then the second cross she put in was for that goal. And that was probably her 2 key passes of the game. And that second key pass ended up being an assist. So with the assist, I think it boosts up a 0.5 for her. But overall, I would have had her at about a 5 or 5.5. So I'll say the assist gives her up to a 6. I think I'll give her a 6 on the day. But Tiffany and coach, I think you need to evaluate, is Tiffany really going to maximize her potential for us if she's playing that role currently? I think Tiffany Cameron, years past, no problem, Energizer Bunny. I think if she does play that role, and we saw here, the half might be the best she's going to be able to give us, you know what I'm saying? But we'll have to study that going forward. Now, the 2 players that played in behind Bunny Shaw to start, first one was Shania Hale. She did get a goal in the 68th minute. She came off immediately after that for Kiki Van Zanten. But she had 3 shots on the day. 1 was on target, 1 key pass, 31 touches, 23 passes, 78.3 passing accuracy. Didn't have a tackle, foul, or commit a foul in the game. Didn't earn a foul either. So that was her stats on the day. She did have the one goal, as it shows there. It was a tap-in goal after some good work from Shaw. But I thought that Shania, less of a fault to herself, I thought. The system doesn't really suit how she wants to play. She doesn't really have that instinct out of possession of, centrally where to plug those gaps deeper in the field. I thought Thomas just looked so much more comfortable executing the role that she was asked to play. I don't know if anybody else saw that, but it was something that just was glaring to me. You know what I'm saying? Big up to One Umbrella. Drop a super chat on the show. We greatly appreciate that $4.99 donation to the show. We greatly appreciate that. Yeah, man. Make it be something that starts a trend on the live show today. Why not? Yeah, man. But anyway, back to the reasoning. Shade should get a start. She's playing good for Hearts in an attacking midfield position. Yeah, she could easily have played that role, Shade. When she came on, you could see, her ability to pick a pass. I may sound like a purist. I can't take any league without relegation seriously. NWSL is a participation trophy league. I want to see Trinity in Europe before I crown her anything. Fair enough, I had one. Fair enough. I agree with the grade so far, except for Becky. I don't think she was below 5 or 50% at all. Fair enough. Fair enough. So what you would have given her? Because I noticed that no one not really giving marks, and that's fine. But you guys are welcome to give your grades when I talk about the players too, Bless up, Float. Bless up, bless up, bless up. Hope all is well, my G. 2 crosses on Bonnie face. Yeah, that's what I said. They've landed on her face, bro. Then practicing those crosses quite nicely in league. Yeah, man. Her crossing was on point. Yeah, man. One Umbrella. I'll drop a hail up to everybody in the chat. Big up yourself again, and thanks for the $5 super chat. We appreciate that. What a difference when she plays in her rightful position. Coach, please don't play her back in left back. May I tell you, Float, from when me I ask for that, what you feel about a Float, respect again for the membership, You never have to do that, you never have to make it continue, but we greatly appreciate them thing there. What you feel about Grooves in the middle with Drew Spence? Yeah, Grooves would look good in there. I don't know if right now I'm gonna take out Primus though, to be honest, because I think Primus finally now giving me what I think she always was capable of. So I'm gonna make her go and run with it till she give me some other performances. But I do think that Groove should be in the rotation. I'm surprised she keep coming and not getting game time at all. Damn, just see this notification. Bless up Jason in the chat. Big up yourself, Joseph Brown. Hope you're good, Current farm Primus with Drew. Yeah, I'll have to agree with that. I had one. Who would replace Tiff in that position? Well, for me, man from Portland, in this current squad that it took, I would say Cameron. I would put Cameron there. I see her playing that for FSU in national championship. I see her playing that for Utah, our club team, in a similar type of role, right midfield, right wing back type of thing. So yeah, I would put her there. Ira Vibes Jody fits into one of the roles behind Shaw. I wouldn't start her. I would go with Thomas and Van Zanten, but or Sade and Van Zanten, one of those couple, because to be honest, I think Thomas would thrive even more if she was playing Bonnie Shaw role. Even though she looked comfortable and good in that role, I think she still want to be strike too. Even though she never do badly there. All right, so Shania got a goal, so I'll give Shania 6.5. Don't think she was in the game enough for me, but again, some of that mark being down have to go on the coach too, because I don't know if he put her in a role that really make her thrive. Yeah, we spoke about that man from Portland, that she definitely had a different look to her game, did put on a little bit, Yeah, man, no, I hope, if she sees this, I hope there's no disrespect to that, but I mean, it is what it is, we have eyeballs, we can see. Natasha Thomas didn't score a goal, didn't get an assist, but I think she had a lot of endeavor in the game. I thought she was one of the main people that was causing Nicaragua problems in the game. She was, should have been more clinical. We have to say she should have had a goal or two as well. We can't say just Bonnie missed chances because she did miss a few. She had 7 shots total, 2 of which on target. So that's something that she will look back and say, boy, could I have gotten 2 more of those shots I took on target? She had 52 touches in the game, 28 passes, very good passing accuracy for an attacking player right there at 93%. She made 5 tackles, and that is the part of that role that I think she took on much better than Shania, because Shania could have been in the same type of situations winning tackles, but I didn't see the same I won't even say, I didn't see the same energy level from Shania to win back the ball when it came on to that type part of the game that I saw from Natasha. Right. So if she's gonna play that role, we're gonna need to see more of that from Shania too. She did win 3 fouls, didn't commit any on the day. But she did throw her weight around as well, and she did put in a big shift, lasting 89 minutes, which for me was a bit too long. I thought she was tiring, right around 65, 70 minutes. She looked really, really tired. And I think maybe the coach, because at the time, I think it was still 3-1. When did they score that last goal? No, it was 3 when she came off, but it just looked like the coach maybe was wanting her to get a goal. I don't know if anybody else got that sense, but because she had played really well and hadn't gotten on the score sheet, I think the coach was hoping that they could find an opportunity, or she could find an opportunity to get a goal. But she came off eventually when the coach realized, okay, Nicaragua is really throwing everything at us, and he brought on an extra defender for her. And she did go down with a bit of cramp as well. So it was kind of forced and kind of tactical at the same time. But Natasha, look, you didn't score a goal, but I'm still gonna give you a higher mark than Shania, because even though she scored a goal, I thought you played better than Shania on the day. So if I give Shania a 6.5, I have to give Natasha a 7 as well. And Bonnie Shaw. So Khadija Shaw on the day must have been some kind of record. She scored twice, 37th and 58th minute. But around those 2 goals, boy, these 12 shots and the 5 on target. Some of them, we don't know how people. Bonnie never scored at least a hat-trick in this game. 4 key passes, so she did combine well with her teammates. I have to give Bonnie that as well. She had some good little plays, 1-2s, turn, beat someone, slip in a pass that then leads to a cross or something. So she did get involved. Her passing accuracy was quite low, and normally attacking player is going to be lower, but on a day like this, I'm sure she will probably tell you her passing accuracy should have been at least in the 70s. So that wasn't the best from her either. She had 29 passes out of 56 touches, and she did give up 2 fouls on the day. Didn't win any fouls, and I think the ref was a bit harsh to her a few times, to be honest. Could have won a few fouls. But she did get 2 goals and an assist, so when it came to the goals, she definitely had a big part to play. But she missed 1-on-1. She missed headers in the 6-yard box. Missed, clear shots that she normally would bury. Keeper made, I think, 1 really good save from one of her shots, to be fair. But other than that, she really missed the chances more than anything. Not really they didn't get stopped, right? But so, look, I have to be balanced in here. She missed those chances, yes. But she did have a lot of key passes. She did contribute to every goal we scored. So, for those reasons, I'm going to give Bonnie Shaw 7.5. And typically, if a team scores 3 goals and the person gets 2 goals and an assist, they're going to get a 9 point something. But because of the misses, I think it would drag her down. So she would be right there in the green somewhere. So I'll say 7.5, since we're not get too technical, and give her 7.1 and 2 on them Sunday. So 7.5, I think, is fair for Bonnie. Like I said, she contributed to everything that made us get 3 points. But she herself kind of caused us to be panicking at the end, because we should have been clear of them by that time. All right, so let's move on to the subs that came on. So at halftime, there were 2 subs made. At halftime, there were 2 subs made. Jade Bailey off and Tiffany Cameron off. So Cameron Simmons came on in the 46th minute. She played the second half. We saw her make some good runs down the right-hand side, put in a couple of good crosses as well. She had an 80% passing accuracy. She made 10 passes out of her 23 touches. She had 1 key pass, only 1 tackle on the day, and she did concede a foul. I think Cameron just needs to sometimes play with a little more confidence too. Sometimes she gets the ball out wide and she wants to play a one-touch pass when maybe, you have the opportunity. You have the 1v1 opportunity. Go down the wing, take some risk. You're in a position where you have the opportunity to take risk. If you lose the ball, we have cover behind you. And typically, if you lose the ball, you're wide and you're in the attacking third. So we have enough time to get the team back. So, Cam, look, I like that you keep the game simple. I don't want that to stop. But just be a little bit more aware that, yes, in that role you're playing now, we do want you to take on that fullback. We do want you to take on that wing back. Get to the byline. Bunny Shaw is a cheat code in that box. So as many times as you can beat that player and pull it back, whether in the air or along the ground, Bunny Shaw more than likely is going to get on the end of it. And if she doesn't, the attention she'll attract will lead the other attackers to get on the end of it. So just take some more risk down that flank. That's the only advice I'd give you. But I think you were definitely good. I mean, you weren't bad in the game. Like I said, just take a little bit more risk. But didn't see any mistakes from you. You were pretty good enough. You lost the ball a few times trying to make forward passes, and I will always live with that. It's the defensive third mistakes we can't really live with, So Cam, I would say I get a 6, pretty standard average 6 there. Nothing to give you a boost up, nothing to really take away from it either. So I'll give you the 6 just for putting in your shift. Then the other sub at halftime was in midfield. Jade Bailey came off, and Sade Adamalekan came in, and you could see 2 key passes. Boom! So from that deeper role, making key passes. We love to see it. Even though she was trying defense splitting passes, still had an 83.3, decent enough passing accuracy. 18 passes completed, 22 touches on the ball. Would love for her to get some more touches on the ball. But she as she grows in that position, I think she will learn how to better utilize her shape when we're building to get more onto the football. I think a lot of times when she gets the ball, it typically is coming from her midfield partner or one of the wingers. I need to see her better controlling the ball from the defense and the half turn at times. That's one thing I wanted to work on. But she had a shot and it was on target. From distance as well, something that she does add from that deeper midfield role. She will take those shots, and she has a good shot on her. But I think the vision and Primus, while showing a bit more ability to have some passing range in this game than I'd seen previously, I think Sade, if she's going to play in that role, definitely would unlock some defense splitting passing and just the ability to even attempt and see those passes. She brings that to the table. But the big stat that I see here that worries me, and I think is going to hold her back from starting in this role, is the 0 tackles. There's no way that second half we're under so much pressure. But in that one spell in the end of the game, how does one of my central midfielders not have any tackle? It seems strange to me. So look, there's 2 sides to that role. You have the offensive side, which I think she excels at. The key passes, the vision, the shots from range. But at defensive side, we need that part solid too. And I think she needs to develop that more into her game. And if we see that it's something that she can't quite develop, I think we strongly need to consider putting her, if we're going to play this system, in the role that Natasha Thomas or Shania Hales played, closer to the striker. Still have to put in defensive work, but it's not as imperative to the functioning of the team for you to do it at an elite level, right? Because against the better opposition, she's going to need to do that side of the game at an elite level to really, really and truly get into the team there. All right, so I'm going to say Sade again, just like Cameron. Some good, some not so good, but not that much not so good. More good than not so good. So standard 6 as well for Sade. All right, moving on, the coach made 2 more subs. The first of which would have been Kiki. So Kiki came on in the 69th minute for Shania Hales, right after Hales had scored a goal, and Kiki immediately made some runs in behind that we hadn't seen from Hales all game. And I think it's just a little bit more familiarity with the role and the timing of when to make that run in behind. Kiki definitely had that down pat. Like I said, the technical the technical thing she did once she made the run didn't quite come off on this day. But I would like to think if you give her a longer run out where she can, get those touches down to where she need them after the first couple. You never know how much she would have done in the game. She had 2 shots, 1 on target in her cameo. She was perfect with her passing. She only made 2 passes, but she didn't miss any of them. She had 10 touches. She made 2 tackles in that little time as well. So I think Hales didn't make any or like 1 in her 68 minutes. So that just shows that again familiarity with the role. And she did concede a foul. But Kiki for me in this system, in any system, even if we go back to wide playing wingers, I think Kiki is a starter in this team. I'm sorry, I don't. I've seen every time she comes on, she makes an impact. I think she's over the injuries now fully, and I think you're gonna see a much better Kiki for Houston Dash as well. So Kiki for me gets a 6 as well, and that's only because of time. I don't think she had enough time to give her to warrant a 6.5 or a 7, but definitely didn't cause herself any problems. Alison Swaby, I think she came on really late, played about 6 minutes. I don't, standard 5. I can't really give her much more than that. She's gonna have to work now. You know what I'm saying? You see some reinforcements coming in the team, and she's gonna have to work to get back in there. Hubert Busby, let's give him a rating. So, look, the system that they started, I disagree with. I think somebody said it that this system don't suit the players. I kind of disagree with that. I think the personnel did suit this type of system. Honestly, it gave us the chance to play more of the players that I think are playing for their clubs and in form, meaning the centre backs. We're able to get 3 of them on the pitch, and I think also it allowed then to find a sweet spot in the team where her defensive frailties don't handcuff us all together. You know what I'm saying? And she can express herself going forward without fear of having coverage and all these things. So I think the personnel actually matches this system. So for that, I'm going to give him some points. I do think that the personnel made sense. Now, where I'm going to challenge him now is the selection of the personnel in the system. I can challenge because, like I said, I was surprised that Thomas Hales and Shaw all started. I figured it would be 2 out of the 3, and you'd play more of a 2-striker system. You went with the 2 number 10s in behind Bunny Shaw, and I think you did that, and you still kind of played the number 9s. Even if you start, okay, Thomas can kind of join in with Bunny. I would have loved to have had one of those 2 be a little bit more creative, right? A little bit more guile. Kiki, Trudy, any player like that it kind of operates more in that midfield mindset, right? And then you have that balance with the 2 roles, and you have a goal scoring one, and you have one that's going to be more your creator. And I thought that's where, up front in the early part of the game, Bunny, while getting chances, was kind of a bit isolated. I don't think either one of those 2 really had the timing down of when to get into that box when the ball went wide and things of that nature. So something to work on moving forward. If you're gonna play this personnel there, just really try to nail into them what you want out of them, because I think the impact that Kiki had in the limited time compared to Shania over the 70 minutes was there for all to see. And it just happened that they found a goal in the 82nd. The momentum in the game kind of shifts, and from going to a free-flowing type of game up 3-1, we kind of started to not panic, but we had to buckle down and get into a more defensive shape at times. And I think that took away from Kiki influencing the game when she came on, when she had to do that. So some of those things I think the coach would have caused, but at the end of the day, the 3 points is the most important thing. So we can't give him like a 2 or a 3, but look, I'll say I agreed with the subs at halftime. I think those 2 players were probably the 2 that were struggling the most on the field. And I agreed with Shania coming off, even though she had scored, because I thought she just wasn't enough in the game. But all in all, the subs were okay. I didn't agree with all the personnel. I like the formation. I just think that we need to figure out a little bit better the transition from defense to attack. You know, we got stuck around the back line at times, you know, especially in that first half when they were kind of dropping off us a lot. And in the second half, when they started to pressure us, um, we didn't really need to play through them, so I understood. But I would love to see us play some opposition that's going to press us and see how well we actually play through them, you know, and don't always resort to, you know, trying to find Bunny's chest or head with that long ball. So all in all, they won the game. So I'll give Hubert Busby a 7. It could have been higher because they won, but I think some of the personnel decisions from the start, and also, you know, maybe keeping on players a bit too long. You know, we have a full squad. We have 5 subs to make. You know, make the subs. You know, freshen up the thing. I would have freshened up a few more players. I thought Bunny could have come off as well. I know she's the talismanic figure, but you know, she looked tired. She looked tired, and her chances of those 12 shots, you know, not many of them would have come after 65, 70 minutes. You know, I think we could have brought on a new striker, you know, that helps, you know, not let Nicaragua play out as easily, because it was getting very easy for them to play out late in that game. I think that was partly down to Bunny not having the energy to press anymore. So just things like that, making those tough decisions, taking off your big name player, you know, even though she might be like, you know, I wanted to stay on. You know, sometimes what's better for the team is for her to come take a seat. So I would say because of those things, I can't give you a 8, 9, or 10. I'll say, and actually, I'm gonna say a 6.5, because there were a few things that I would have done a bit differently. And hey, these are my ratings. They don't have to mean anything, but that is my ratings for the girls them. So just to recap, Becca Spencer, lowest on the day. You're still my girl, but 4.5 for you from me. Tiana Harris, Chantel Swaby both got a 6. Kanya Plummer got a little higher at 6.5. Jade Bailey got a 5.5. Shania Hales got a 6.5, mainly due to the goal she scored. Natasha Thomas got a 7, even though she didn't score. Khadija Shaw, 7.5. Miss Abaga chances could have been a 10, but you get 2.5 taken off because, yeah, you missed too much easy chance that day, Bunny. Denisha Blackwood got a 7 from me. Tiffany Cameron got a 6. Atlanta Primus, one of the highest on the day. Could have been a 7.5, but I gave Bunny the little edge for the player of the match. 7 from Primus for me. Very close to getting player of the match as well. Then we have Kiki Van Zandt got a 6 from me. Sade as well with a 6, and Cameron Simmons with a 6 as well. And then Alison Swaby, just because of time, starts out with the standard 5. So she did not move up or down at all. All right. And then Hubert Busby, I gave a 6.5. So that is pretty much the recap of the Reggae Girls versus Nicaragua. And moving forward, we just want to see the girls in April. Hopefully they can stay healthy and there's not too much change from this team, because I think at this point of these qualifiers, you know, having a couple of windows where it's not too much change from the one before could be helpful as we try to evaluate what we need to do going into this summer, leading into the W Championship, which will start to take place once those windows roll back around after the season starts in August. All right, so yeah, Jamaica, Nicaragua, 3-2, still top of the table. Let's take a look actually at that table, and see what the groups are saying so far. So this is not what I really want though, because they're not showing me anything but that. All right, let me see. CONCACAF W qualifiers 2026. All right, let me show you the standings. People, make sure you're smashing up that like button. Still about 50 of you strong in the building. We greatly appreciate the views, and just add on the likes now, and that would be greatly appreciated, my people. All right, so this is the W qualification. So far in Group A, we have Mexico with 2 from 2. So they and us are, I think, on the same goal difference with 21 goals scored over the 2 games. Jamaica, yep, 21 goals scored, but we have conceded twice against Nicaragua. I think Mexico have no goals conceded as yet. Yeah. So we're in the driver's seat. Nicaragua have played 3 games, only 6 points for them. We have played 2 and with 6 points. And like I said, we have Guyana April 18 and Antigua on April 10th. And both of those games will be at home. So we'd like to see 6 more points and we'll be on to the AA Championship. Group C has started out like this. Guatemala and Costa Rica lead the way. And they're just left to play each other. And that game will take place on April the 18th. So that will be an interesting one there that will basically tell you who will be moving on. Then we move to Haiti's group. They did get the victory yesterday. It was a hard-fought one over Suriname, 2-0. But they are topping the group now with 6 points in the driver's seat as well. They'll have one challenge left probably, and that will be against Damrep. That will be against Damrep. But they do have in between that they will face Anguilla, which should be pretty bad for Anguilla, I think. Then Group E, Panama leads the way over Cuba and Aruba, but Aruba only played 1 game so far, so we'll see what they bring to the table coming up here shortly. They'll have 2 games in April, but hold on there. Aruba must have a game coming up too. Okay, so Aruba actually gonna play Cuba in a couple of days, so that will be big for them if they can go into that last window in touching distance of Panama. Maybe they have a chance, but Panama are still the favorites there. El Salvador, they have Trinidad left to play, so that's the only team that can pass them. If Trinidad can pull an upset in that final group stage game, they will move on to the AA Championship. You see the leading goal scorers, they're at the bottom, but basically, and we know what's going on. They're qualifying for the final tournament, and we know so far that USA, Canada are there, and we're just waiting for the other 6 group winners to make up the 8 teams that go into this competition. And it's going to go right to a quarterfinal stage in November, then the semifinals. So that's going to be very, very interesting. The winners of the quarterfinals right to the World Cup, and then after that, the winners of the semifinals will qualify for the Olympics. If the US is one of the semifinalists, then all the semifinalists will qualify for the 2028 Summer Olympics. Wow. Yeah, as long as USA in the semifinals and you make semifinals, you basically qualify for the Olympics too. Got a 3rd place winner would have to go. But if USA in the semis, which more than likely they will be, you just have to make it to the semis, and you have made the World Cup and you have made the Olympics. So that is nice. USA there, and they're going to get 3 more spots. So there you go, people. Get to the championship, and pretty much everything will come down to that first quarterfinal matchup. All teams will be seeded according to the FIFA ranking. So basically, you're just going to do the ranking, and wherever you fall in the rankings, that's it. So you guys want to see the rankings? FIFA Women's Rankings. So Women's World Rankings as of today. So what's going to be important is when they're going to take the rankings from. So let's filter it. And let's go to CONCACAF teams only. So right now, we are due to face Costa Rica. So what we need to happen, people, is Costa Rica to win and don't let Haiti catch them. Because I would much rather play a knockout game to go World Cup against Costa Rica than Haiti. I'm sorry. Oh my gosh, you know who is Haiti in this setup? Mexico have to play Haiti, you know? Oh, but Panama, Canada, USA, Trinidad as of right now. But we know that Trinidad battling it out to qualify with damn, which group Trinidad in again? Trinidad battling it out right now with the last group, El Salvador. So based on the rankings, people, El Salvador would be the 8th ranked if them beat out Trinidad. But as of right now, if we qualify for the championship and the rankings were to stay exactly like this, Jamaica going to face Costa Rica in that quarterfinal game, people. So let's continue to watch the rankings, and we also need to see when the draw going to take place, because I'm sure they're going to base it off of where the draw is at when time, you know, they're going to base it, okay, based on the CONCACAF Women's ranking published on, okay, on August 14, CONCACAF reallocated the rankings, seedings based on the rankings. All right, so they're not showing when they're gonna base the rankings off, but one can only assume it will be the most recent rankings up to a certain time, up to a certain date. So we'll love to find out when that's gonna be set in stone. And we'll keep watching those rankings, because it looks like that's basically what's gonna determine who will play in that quarterfinal, which is basically a make it or break it, like pressurized situation. One game to not lose, and you go to World Cup again. Like, wow, talk about pressure. We should not depend on Bonnie. We need others to step up. Kiki need to run the wings. That's her jam. Yeah. If I have all the players, I don't even know if I start Natasha in the role she play. I would say she had a backup. I mean, it's between her and Kayla for the backup, to be honest. Kiki did have a good game. A midfield with her and a fit Drew would be a good midfield combo. Yeah, I don't want Kiki so deep, though. I don't know, but I suspect Izzy has something recurrent going on. Her club bubble wrapped her last season. Yeah, could be. Jody need to focus on her game. She's not clinical in the past few years. She have not evolved the way I thought she'd be at this age, says man from Portland. Simmons are fully converted to LB from striker. She had played that position in uni because of injuries. Yeah, but Delano Blake, it looked like Utah Royals sign her to do the same damn thing. But we'll see, because she's going to get chances with the team, and NWSL start up now, so we shall see. Bunny involved in all 3 goals, brace and assist, yep. Bunny didn't have a good game by her standards, no. I see style of play in this team. We need to keep the ball better. The defense needs some improvement. Yeah, that's true. Bunny get a 6.5 from Ira Vibes. I gave her 1 more point. We should not depend on Bunny. We need others to step up. I saw that. We need someone like Hines to add to this team. I'm so disappointed in her choice of team. Yeah, she played another game for England same day, or well, the weekend. Probably should have started Simmons, but Tiffany clearly is the coach's fave. Yeah, it's that probably the Canada connection, you know. Sade and trust, you know, him just know her longer. Sade showed her quality, made riskier pass instead of playing safe. That is true. Sade has to be starting 10, Primus and Drew behind her. Yeah, so the system would have to change then, Ira Vibes. Because if you're going to do that, you can't play a back 3. Unless you're going to play a 3-5-2. I guess you could play a 3-5-2. You could do that. You have a 2 wing back, the base, a 10, and then 2 striker. Yeah, you could do that. Change the shape of the midfield a little bit. She can do that as a winger if we're playing wing transition or number 8 in a traditional midfield and drift wide. Jason asked him about Samson, and also if we're actively recruiting, especially a goalie and defenders. Will do. I had one. Will do. Yo, the last few press conference, like before we announced team, the timing was terrible. Like I had a meeting like the same time the thing start, like both times. I jump in late, and sometimes you jump in late, not even like ask, I miss things, and you're going across the airwaves, you want to come off like you know what you do. When you come in and ask a question when them don't talk about is a problem. All right, I feel stupid. I don't like it. So I'm gonna go in late, I just listen. The CB depth is good, there's competition there. Yeah, maybe the defenders I had one referring to is more wide defenders, because I actually agree that the CBs are there, at least for this cycle. Of course, you need to actively keep looking, but personally, we just leave her on the wing, she on one, then on the other. Bless up Shavan in the building, big up yourself. 6.5. Question should be lower. No, I put it higher. I put Bonnie higher. I put her 7.5. The quarterfinals are one leg, just one match to make it. Suppose we draw USA. No, we can't draw USA. The only way we draw USA, Jean-Pierre fan, is the rankings. And we're not going to drop to 8th, I don't think. The format for the last 8 is a knockout round. Right, let me show you guys. All right, so let me show you guys again real quick. Okay, we're going to move on to the U20 for the last half hour. All right, so this is how it's going to be. It's a bracket like this in November, right? That whole window is going to be 3 games potentially, right? So what this going to go on to? Yes, I'm pretty sure that whoever if there's a need for the plane, because we get 4 automatic and you still can plane, right? So I think if you lose the quarterfinal game, you will then, I think you'll play a playing game even after losing that, and then that could send you to the Interconfed. Yeah, I think that's how it's gonna go, people. So the 4 losers will play this, and then they'll play, and then the 2 winners will go on to something in February. I'm pretty sure that's how it's gonna go. Yeah, because they have the playing matches to advance to this. Okay, so the format will be 8 teams, quarterfinal, 1 game. Win the game, they in the World Cup, basically. They're going to do the games based on the FIFA rankings at the time of when they do it, right? It will be seeded according to the FIFA ranking. What I'm trying to find out is, when will that be? When will that be? Will it be after the April window, after this window, after the summer is done? Like, when will they actually put out what the matchups will be? As of right now, we will be the 4th seed, and Costa Rica will be the 5th seed. So we'll have a 1-off game against Costa Rica. No, that's coming up right now, Shaban. If this was the format last qualifiers, Jamaica would have made Olympics. For real, I would made the semi based on rankings. I don't know. Haven't gotten any word on what happened with her. Respect for the subscription, my brother. Thank you very much, my boss. Switch the team to 4 at the back, says Ira. Vibes. All right. So, women, we'll keep tabs. We'll keep on watching, see how you finish off your club seasons. Well, before that, you're going to come back in April again. Hopefully, all of you who are fit, and hopefully most of you are still fit. I would love to see you come on back. All right. So, next thing we want to do, people, the U20 Reggae Boyz. We want to congratulate them first and foremost. They have made it through to the next round of the qualifiers, which are going to take place in July. Now, we scored 28 goals. We conceded none. We scored 27 of those 28 in the first 4 games. Puerto Rico, by all accounts, was the toughest opponent we faced in round 1, right? And against Puerto Rico, we did not have the level of dominance that we exhibited against the other 4 teams who would have played. So, my question to you is, there's always going to be a discussion once any team at the national level has done anything to get us somewhere, how loyal should we be to the players that would have gotten us where we have reached up to this point? And is it really a conversation about evaluation of the players, or is it more about sentiments? If you don't want players to be added to the team because of strictly sentiment, then I think that's entirely the wrong way to go about it, right? At the under 20 level, we're dealing with professionals at this point, right? At least that's the goal. You want to pick players who are professionals, right? I've heard numerous members of the JFF say that. We have heard numerous people in football say that. At the under 20 level, it is no longer about, strictly development. We're dealing with professionals here, and at the end of the day, they're trying to win, right? Or put their best foot forward or give themselves the best opportunity to go out there and win, right? Now, when I analyze the squad that went, and I analyze the performance in the Puerto Rico game, we can say that Nolan had a case of the bunny shaw in the last game. Chances that we saw Nolan put away, he wasn't putting away in the final game. Yes, that is true. The first half, when what looked to me, Puerto Rico was kind of sitting back and saying, we're going to take our chance late in the game. We're going to try to keep this game 0-0 as long as possible. We looked like we were a decent football team. We're playing the football well. We weren't rushing the ball game. We're keeping good possession. But the minute that the game changed in the second half, even up a goal, and Puerto Rico decided to press us and throw the kitchen sink at us, we had trouble. We had a lot of trouble. They created chances. Our goalkeeper had to be making mad saves. The crossbar came into play. So a lot of things would have happened in that game to suggest that, maybe, just maybe, the current squad that we have is going to need a little bit of help if we're going to be competitive in the next round, right? And to be fair, this version of the U20, when you match up how the last U20 would have done in the round one, right, that got them to the final round, they didn't have the wide goal margin like this team did for the majority of the games. And every game that they played was more like the game that we would have played against Puerto Rico. So maybe for that team, this conversation wasn't as difficult because anybody could clearly see that the team needed reinforcements. Now, I don't hear the same type of sentiment overall with this team. And what I want to know is it because of the results that we were able to get in the competition? Because if that's what you're basing it on, I want you guys to look mainly as the barometer for what we need in the next round against the Puerto Rico game. Because Puerto Rico, of all the teams who would have played in that group, is the closest thing that we're going to see to the teams we're going to face in the next round, right? And just so you guys know and are clear, right, the CONCACAF U20 men's qualifier, our men's championship, right, which is going to take place from July 18 to August 4th, right? So why them now show me the 2026 one? Them don't have nothing on it yet. Hold on, the people, man. Try to find the right one. Hold on. The CONCACAF Men U20 Championship, July 2026. Here we go. All right, here we go. Here we go. People smash up the like button, cause the convo I get interesting now. I knew Guru would be here very shortly once I brought up this topic. Kept very silent for the women's convo, but I knew this one would draw out, Guru. So welcome, Guru, to the chat. All right. So this is what we're looking forward to going into the next round. Basically there'll be 3 groups of 4 drawn, right? So you can expect 2 teams from the left side in each group and 2 teams from the right side in each group. So we could potentially have a group, just hypothetically, of Mexico, Cuba, Jamaica, and El Salvador, right? That could be our 4 teams in our group. And from that group, you have to finish in the top 2 or be the 2 best 3rd place team, right? And that will make up a quarterfinal bracket. Now, once you get to the quarterfinal bracket now, it's very similar to with what we just mentioned with the girls, right? Once you win one of those games, once you win the quarterfinal game, you're in the Under-20 World Cup. The semi, you're in the World Cup. Now, once you win a semi, right? You see, and we explain the scenario about the Olympics because USA is hosting. You might still get there based on what happens with that, right? And also the Pan Am Games in the mix as well. So that's going to be the format for the U20. So knowing what we saw against Puerto Rico, we can all agree, I would think, that we're going to need to tweak some areas of the team, right? So the first thing I want to do is just pull up the players, right? Because there's no point having a discussion about bringing in players and we don't reference the players who were there, right? So let me get to my files and let me pull up the team sheet. Where is it? Jason Gooner, media, men's under-20 roster, match schedule. All right, hold on. Let me do search. U20 roster. Rosters. Team rosters, what is? Watch out. Something a long time, something this. Men's U20. Bro, man, no say it up here, you know. Like this. Alright, this is the women U17. Getting warmer, people are getting warmer. Gold Cup. Rated. Maybe it's in here, so. No, that are some coaching sessions. They have my training. I do my training, you know. Channel star, where did I put this damn thing? This is sad. Rasta. Jamaica. Updated. Round 1. I hit this. Yeah. No, that's not it either. Wow. Jamaica. No. Bro. I don't know why I can't find this damn thing. when the competition it start. U20 CONCACAF. No. Match schedule. Journal Star. Alright, that's okay. Let me just, instead of finding the file, let me just go to the damn something there. Actually, bear with me, people. Bear with me. I'm gonna find it. No, that's not the right damn thing. Charger. It's got to be it. It's got to be it. Yeah, man, release your list, brother. Women's again. Yo, how are they? Mama. People might have the file, you know. Like, I know I have it, you know. I better me just do this here, man. Your computer upload. Did I not have the? No. I guess I never did it, you know. All right, it's all good, people. It's all good. Let me just go here. So, competition means U20. Latest news. News. Sanctions, BA sanctions. Sad what happened in that damn game, man. Team they make a fool of themselves, star. Here we go. Rastas confirmed. Jeez. I don't know why this thing want to bombard go on so. Sure. Right, let me share this. Alright, make sure. Okay, good. Zoom a little bit. Alright, so where's Jamaica? Alright, so this is the team. So we just can go through. We are go through and we just gonna say. Let me see if we can write on this one, yeah. We can write on this, yeah. Alright, so me I go put when I say shade it in, I just put a mark. I'm just gonna put a mark beside the people in would drop out. See? So me, I'm gonna actually reveal who I would drop out. All right. And the players can take this however they want. Take it. You can take it. You should take it as motivation more than anything. And you should take it as I'm just a brother with a YouTube show. Like I don't have any influence on it. You know what I'm saying? So it don't matter what I say. I don't think that your life is over because I say that. Right? But I'm gonna be honest and have a tough conversation. So I ask who are the players I would drop and who are their replacements. So as far as the replacements go, I'm not gonna go so far in this program today. But all I know, Guru, if you know anything about this youth team, you know that there were about 4 to 5 players that the coach wanted that for various reasons could not come for this window, right? So we know that there's at least 5 players or 4 players that would be replacing these players. Now, I'm just gonna base my adjustments not on any of that, just on what I think is needed for the next level to really be competitive. So personally, Earl would I get drop off. Earl would I get drop off for me, right? I'm gonna put Talbert in yellow because he was okay, or whatever that is. I don't yellow that. I don't know what color that is. Try that one, yeah. So I put Talbert in a yellow. I guess we'll just mark everybody. So green, let me mark the green them first. Green, Kai, Jump, Nolan. This man, he mark out himself. I'm sorry, people. Gio get dropped from my team, you know. I know he's a favorite in Jamaica, but boy, I'm sorry. I think Howell deserve to come back and play himself right into it. John Dennis, think we can do better. Sean Layton, I actually would keep him. Actually would keep Layton. Going into the tournament, I would have had him in my yellow region, but I think I'd put him in the green. I think him show me enough. Now, because I don't know of any goalkeepers in the pool, for now, I'm going to say that Janai stays in the yellow, right? Because I don't know if Janai really challenges Grant. I think if they're both fit, Grant is going to start over him every time. And I would love to have another keeper just in case that I would trust enough to start. Look, I know the storyline is going to be great for people. Player from U17 and U20 together. But I don't think Berger makes my team either. I don't think he makes it as a midfielder, which is what I saw him playing the last game. I don't think he's one of the better right backs at U20 level right now, if we're really being honest. So, yeah, for me, Dwayne Berger wouldn't be back with the team. I wouldn't bring back Wilberforce either. I don't think he's a left back, which is what he played the most minutes as in the tournament. And I don't think he starts as a wide player either or gets game. I think Campbell Dennis proved that he needs to be in and around there. I would be looking for reinforcements for Headley. So what were that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think Bent, solidifying place. I would drop Miller. I would drop Claver. And like I said, the goalkeeper situation, I'm not so familiar with the pool and how many. I've only really heard about outfield players for the most part. So, but now I will just take out the man them just because, but I will keep it yellow because I don't think those people are dead and gone. Let me see. I'm actually gonna change Claver to a yellow too. Because I know him get a lot of beating. But I don't know, man. Something about the player. I might want to see a little more. So for me, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of the 21, I would say for sure. Like just find replacements for them. Now the ones that I have in yellow, which is another 5, that's gonna be contingent just upon the pool. Like I don't know if we have the players like that. You know what I'll do as well? I'm gonna put Earl as a yellow. So I'm not gonna say me just gonna dash Earl. I know Earl can also play central. And depending on what we have recruitment wise for that area of the field, Earl could easily move into being like the backup number 6 if we don't want. Because I think if it's as a center back, I think we can do better. Even if we don't go diaspora. Like we probably have better center backs playing in Jamaica at that age. To me. Same with Talbert. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, that's what I would say. When I can clip it, as I say, as we move forward, there's really no need for me today to divulge all the names and all of these things. I will continue to do what I've always done, which is try to keep my ear to the street as far as players we're looking at, try to figure out who have heritage, who have this, who have that, who is interested, right? Because too often, sometimes I think we just go about and I say who have heritage, who have heritage. We don't even know if the people them even know that them have the heritage to write it, and we are run down the thing. So sometimes I think the conversation needs to be had before we start coming out with names. So that's why I'm just now got comment. But no Guru I tried to draw me out and I said, well, who are the replacements? Well, me know a few of them in my head already, but today is not the day to divulge that, I don't think. Today, I'm just going to tell you guys from my perspective and what I saw in the tournament. This is how I would be looking at making changes. I would have it tiered. I would say, listen, there are certain players that I just don't think show me enough in the tournament to warrant me picking them back, right? And for some of them that in the red, like Gio, can score goals and thing and him contribute, it might look harsh, but I am just looking at the quality that I think we're going to need, and I just don't think that these players, especially the ones that have marked red, are going to give us in that next round, that next phase when the going get tougher. Now Douglas, it's hard to count him. Him kind of take himself out. So yeah, it's really sad what happened with him having to leave, but I don't think you can really consider him for the next round based on him having to be sent away due to discipline. Giovanni Taylor again is probably going to be the one that people are going to see here and kind of say, wow, the most. But look, I'm just basing it off of what I've seen from U15 coming right up. He's always been somebody that they have leaned on. And I just think in the bigger games when the opponents are the toughest, I don't see him standing and counting himself enough. That's what I'll say on that. And then the rest, I think, maybe, I think Berger might get a lot of pushback as well, just due to the story and everything. And, maybe Headley as well, who he played, didn't look too bad. But, you could see when we played the Puerto Rico and it was a different level, he didn't have nearly the same impact in the game. So, these are the things you have to take note of. But yeah, this is what I would stick with because, look, I agree with people. We can't just drop every 21 players. I do think that there were some of the players that, whether based on how they played or just based on their overall, what we have seen so far, they would need to come back and deserve to come back. But look, the ones in the red for me are, if I am coaching this team, I am looking to replace them. That's and then the ones in the yellow, I would include them in my camp when I bring in players to try to finalize my final team. Now, if you want to say, okay, let everybody on this list go to the camp as well, fine. We can do that. Give them a chance. But I would be talking to these players and saying, listen, as of right now, your foot is out the door from a final squad. And I'm going to need you to work within your club. I'm going to be monitoring you, what you're doing. And, whenever we do call camp, and the times when we do call camps, I'm going to expect you to really show out because you have a lot of work to do. I think these players need to understand that, yes, we are thankful and we love the fact that you got us to this last round, but we have to be honest and we have to tell them if they're not up to par, we think they're not up to par, we have to be honest with them. You know what I'm saying? And I don't have to be right, like I said before, but this is just my assessment of the situation. If I would be looking to change about 6 to 7 players for sure, and I could potentially, if I found the right replacements, change about 10 of them. Yeah, change about 8 to 10 of them. So yeah, heated. Not too heated because I'm not really having the convo with anyone, but I'm sure underneath this video, there probably will be some comments about, and I welcome them. Hopefully people have their takes and can substantiate their points as well, because that's all we ask. Big up yourself, Jason. We will need players like Seymour Reed, Kadriana Marsh, and a few others for the next round. Yeah, Franklin Young, I think some people automatically assume when you say bring in players, because I hear people saying we don't want to upset the chemistry. Well, a lot of the players I'm referring to, would have been players that have played for us at U17 or U15 level before. and they have the age, and for whatever reason they weren't in this setup. And from what I've seen, some of the players I've seen them replaced with are not better than those players. So I see a couple of the names you have mentioned here, Franklin, and you're dead on. You're dead on point. You can release your list, man. Yeah, man. When it comes to the woman, them, I thank you. Yeah, man, big up yourself, determined. I try putting in the work for them too, because them deserve just as much of the work. Trust me. Chorus, I laugh. Kaya ask permission. Oh, you a laugh. Why? Chorus, I laugh. Oh, no, Chorus just a ask. We handle PR even on our worst day. We missed opportunities to make it an easy 4-0. Absolutely. We missed a lot of goals on the day. We lacked confidence on the ball. We're passing through PR in the first half, but as soon as the intensity picked up, we started to panic and to revert to out of my life football. Yeah, well, PR did a good job of playing possum. I think we didn't expect them to ever not do that. But I'm saying, well, at some point they have to try and go for it. And once they did, that's when we stopped connecting the passing. I was looking for the file for this file with the rosters, but I wanted to find the PDF so I could actually, like, you know, mark it up with my pen. Bless up J. Ross in our building. Big up yourself, you know. That Butler player is not it either. Hey, I like that Butler player, man. And like I said, that's why football is such a great platform to have shows on, because it's an opinionated thing, you know. And my opinion is, oh, we have the same exact list. Okay. Yeah, we do? Based on what I have? Seymour Reed is one. Yeah, for sure. Ball player did with love. Earl, Jamoy, and Nugent, no way should have been red. That's literally a red flag. Earl, Jamoy, and Nugent. Okay, so Earl I changed the yellow, because I kind of agree. Him have some utility ability that I like, you know. Jamoy being a red is just because I don't think he's that good, you know. And Nugent, I would give him the slight edge over Jamoy, so I put him to yellow. But we can improve on them, man, or they need to improve. The number 10 is a green for me. He's a undroppable for me. I don't think you can drop him. Campbell Dennis would have been a yellow for you. Oh, okay, interesting. Yeah, I thought Campbell Dennis was the key to some of the passing that we saw in the competition. He was the connector, you know. Jabari finished off a lot of the plays, you know, whether shooting or the final pass. But I think Campbell Dennis was seen more in all the phases, you know, getting the ball from the defense, connecting with a winger, getting it back, connecting with a forward type of thing. So, I mean, it was clear as well when Campbell Dennis came off against Puerto Rico. Jabari was not as visible in the game, you know. So I think Jabari himself will probably tell you that Campbell Dennis would be a green, but who knows, maybe not. But I not do that until it's closer to the next round and I get done more information. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I'm just basing it off of that. Campbell Dennis a yellow. Yeah, I'm surprised by that. Here are the must stay, in my opinion: Leighton, Van der Veterin, Will, Nolan, and the goalkeeper must come Che and Seymour. So there's really only, I think Bala has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players as must stays, are what I call green in my list right here. So yeah. But then again, I'm a huge fan of Taylor. But this is the beautiful game. Should have never been already in the first place. Well, that's it. As I said, football opinionated, my boy. Opinionated. Campbell Dennis was good, steady. What you may consider better players may not fit the profile that the coach wants that will execute. That is true. That is true. That is very true. That is very true. And I am trying to base this off of how I see the coach trying to play too, you know. So it's not just me just willy-nilly. Like, I'm actually factoring in how I see the coach playing or trying to play. Which one of the ballers is from out west? Nolan. I think that's where Nolan originated from, yes. I know he was at Mount Pleasant before him leave, but I think he's from west somewhere. I don't forget which parish. And other than him, I know the goalkeeper from Stets, I would assume he's from out west. And I think the goalkeeper from Moby, I would assume he's out west too. But who knows? A lot of these players, even though them club might be somewhere, them actually from a next place. So yeah. Not spectacular, but I prefer a Taylor who's an out-and-out center forward. Yeah, I just think when I think about the players that I know the coach wanted, I don't know if Gio gets in the team as a center forward, and I don't really think Gio is a midfielder. So it's like, you know, don't know, brother. Good, I'm keep hearing about this. What bothers man them? I don't know. You keep hearing about the kid named Bull. Yeah. Stephen Bull. Very good player still, you know. Gonna see how the Excelsior youths develop because it's crazy that none of them never met the team. Ballpree, I agree. It was kind of strange that the Manning Cup champions never really get a look in. You know, none of them really. And I just assumed that all of them was 19 and too old, but I'm hearing otherwise. Wondering if Ballpree is mixing up Campbell Dennis with Jamai. Well, the numbers are there, you know. So it says number 16 Campbell Dennis. So I don't know if he would be mixing it up, you know. I don't know. I think him just like Jamai more. Dennis. I don't think Taylor had the best tournament. Has anyone seen Che in action? Why do we expect him to do well? Is it because it's Bibi's son? No, it's because when him get game over there, him look good. And the clips I see him look talented, him look good, him look fast, him look technical, left foot very proficient. All right, wait. Is he left footed? I don't think he's left footed like him father. Him just play off the left and cut in. But yeah, him look good. But people, I know I'm gonna clip up that. So clip up that, take the picture, put it on your thumbnail and react to it. But yeah, that's my take, people. We're gonna need some reinforcements, and I think that they're there. I think the coach already has some in mind. The key now is communication. Start to communicate with these clubs. Start to make a clear idea of when you want to have camps before this July window, because we can't just call up man and expect them to just be able to leave their situations. Some of these players do play in the US, in the MLS to be exact, and the team will still have games during that time. So you need to make sure that the communication lines are open and they're clear. And whenever you guys come up with the strategy for the games beforehand or the camps you want to have beforehand, let the authorities at these clubs know right away and start to plant that seed from now. That would be my advice to anybody in the administrative roles in that U20 setup and the U17 setup for that matter. You guys keep those lines of communications open so that we can have the best preparation possible for both of these teams, because we need to be able to get the players that we want to use to prepare them as well as play with them. All right? Yeah, Che left-footed. Yeah, I couldn't remember if he was left or right-footed, but yeah, you're right. It's funny how that work out. Eh? You fall left-footed and you come left-foot as well. Franklin said JA should cap Van der Veteran. That kid can still play for other countries. It's a thought. What about JC Youth Klein? This over him head? Which JC Youth name Klein that now? I'm not mixing them up, you know. Jamai did enough for me to want to see more of him, Clever as well, and even Gio. But I know why they would get red flagged. Oh, is that right? Number 9, Taylor is Ballpree baller. She had 18 playoffs and contributing in League One. Say no more. Send them a bank template of what you saw from the other FA. They need the help. Yeah. Facts. But the thing is that they seen it, bro. They seen it. But I'll resend it. But if Jason didn't change those 2 to yellow, that would be 9 red. All domestic. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, those should get the red. I'm looking at the players we brought in. Do you think Joshua Grant should be in the red? Do you think Marlon Van der Veteran should be in the red? Do you think Kai McLean should be in the red? Do you think Raekwon Campbell Dennis should be in the red? Well, he said yellow for him, so kinda, so not quite. And do you think Brandon Bent should be in the red, the left back? Because those are the players that were brought in, you know. So you can make it about where them born, or you can just look at it as the player. Which one of the players that I've put green would you say, if you were doing this exercise, not me, just you, which one of them would you put as red? Because you want to make it about that when the majority of the team born in Jamaica. So if I was going to cut people, they have a bigger chance of getting cut. It's more of them. You understand? But again, the players that I have under green, I'm going to pull it up again before I leave. Come have to leave now. Come have to get my data. But the players that I have under the green right here, right? You tell me which one of them I'm wrong on. Which one of them, if you were doing this exercise, you would have flipped and changed to another thing. Let me know. Seriously, let me know. I'm curious. Balpre, don't follow up the bleaching comment, man. Don't follow up the bleaching comment. I'm saying, yes, I don't put none of the overseas man them as red. And I'm asking you, of those overseas players that I just named, Joshua Grant, Marlon Van de Veterin, Kai McLean, who again? Kai McLean, Raekwon Campbell Dennis, Brandon Bent. Those were the overseas players that I have in green. Which one of those did I not put in the correct category for this exercise, in your opinion? Because I can't put the people in red where don't deserve to be red, in my opinion. You understand? So let me see which one of them, no way Jamoy, Nugent, and Gio didn't do enough to automatically get red at first instinct. What you mean do enough? What did they do? I said that this exercise was predominantly because I said, listen, we scored 28, we concede 0. 27 of those came in 4 of the games. Or wait, yeah, 4 of the games. The 5th game we play, we win 1-0. So I said, okay, if we know that the opponents in the next round tougher, wouldn't the best barometer and the best place to look at performance be the last game we play? That was the closest in competition to round 2. If you agree with that, then based upon when we see how we see them and them play against that opposition, that would warrant these grades from me. You are caught up on the fact that none of the man them we put in a red come from foreign. All of them come from Jamaica. But brother, a 17 out of it, how much of them? 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it's about 5 players born outside the country and 16 born in Jamaica. So if that is your ratio, wouldn't you expect more of them in the red to be from Jamaica or born in Jamaica? It's maths. There's more chances for them to be in the red. It's more of them. No, I only changed 2 of them, you know. I only changed 2 of them, you know. Gio still red, you know. Gio still red. I changed Earl because to me, I was factoring in too much Earl as a central defender. I should have been putting him as a utility player because he can play number 6 as well. And we might need the coverage there. And I think as a 6, I even like him more than Headley, who I have in red. So he's a yellow, right? But you're right. At first, I had all of them red. All of the ones I had. And Clever didn't show me enough to really warrant not being red. But through Mr. Clever play before this tournament, and I actually like the player, I'm working off of that too. To say, okay, maybe something was wrong there, you know? But people, I have to run. I have to go pick up my daughter, my wife just messaged me and asked me if I left yet. So people, I don't want to leave her at the place. I wait for me. So I'm gone. Maximum respect, honors and respect. Big up on yourselves. One love. Bless up. Until next time, keep the convo going in the comment section, people. And yeah, man, we'll discuss this on no relative shows, man. Keep the convo going. Big up on yourselves. We're out. I'm Jason Gooner. This is Jason Gooner TV. Like up the video.